So in one of the previous videos, I talked about how we work with the subconscious during these emotion code and body code appointments, and how you might have something come up consciously, a memory of an event or something during the session, but we're really working with your subconscious. And why are we doing that? What is that about? Let's dig into that a little bit. So first of all, you can see here that in general, the idea with the subconscious and the conscious is that only 5% of your system operates on a conscious perspective. It's the logical part, the thinking, the analyzing. It's also the part that works within this concept and construct of time that we live in these human bodies, in this environment, in this world. And also has this concept of kind of past, present, and future because of that. Now, the subconscious represents 95% of the system. It holds everything kind of together. It remembers every single thing that has ever happened in your life. It also remembers all the stimuli and all the things that were happening at the times of all of those events that you might not have even been consciously perceiving. And it does not operate within the construct of time that we operate within our physical bodies, which is why trauma, big T, little t trauma, can feel like it's happening now and can trigger kind of emotional feelings and sensations within your body. So it's really important in these energy healing modalities that we use the subconscious because it knows more than kind of what's going on up here in your subconscious mind. And it knows other things that don't necessarily fit into the narratives and the linear thinking that we've created within our conscious minds. Some other healing modalities, energy and otherwise, require that you really tap into the event in your conscious mind. EMDR is a great example. In order to complete EMDR, which I love and I think is a fabulous therapy, you need to remember the event, which can be super triggering. It can be really, really hard. It can take a long time after a big T trauma event to actually be able to complete EMDR. What's nice about this emotion code, body code, and these energy healing modalities is that we don't have to do that. They play very well together. They're very complementary. EMDR has a very special place in my heart because it works really well for me. And at the same time, using these other energy healing modalities can be very complementary to general, regular talk therapy, other kinds of therapies, including EMDR. Okay, so now we've talked about what we have here, what we're working with trapped energies. We've talked about the fact that we're working with the subconscious. Now, how are we finding these trapped energies, right? And we're using a thing called muscle testing. So muscle testing comes from kinesiology and from the idea that we can observe an actual response, an affirmative or sort of a negative response from your body in the tension kind of your muscles. We do that by communicating with your subconscious. This is something that you can do on your own. You can tap into your subconscious and you can use muscle testing. And there's a link for a very cool sway muscle test, which is one of the most common muscle tests used within muscle testing below that you can check out. So the idea here is that when you ask, or I as a facilitator for your body code or emotion code session, ask your subconscious this yes or no question, we can use muscle testing. In the case of a virtual appointment, I use proxy muscle testing, which means that I'm muscle testing on behalf of your subconscious. I know, it's pretty wild. To kind of determine, is the answer to this question a yes? Is the answer to this question a no? And when I talk about the questions here, I mean questions trying to dig in and identify what are those trapped emotions, what are those different trapped energies? And identifying those questions, figuring out if we need to know more information about the particular trapped energy or trapped emotion, and then being able to release that through intention. So what does an emotion code or a body code session actually look like for you as the client? The sessions will start with a little bit of a check-in, a little bit of a conversation. What's going on? What discomforts are you feeling? What are some things that you want to kind of work on? What are the issues? Also, if this is a follow-up session, what's the difference? What did you notice from last week? How do you feel now? Or do you want to work on different things? So we'll do just kind of a general check-in at the beginning of the session. I will do an intention setting. We'll have like a moment of silence where I can connect in. And then I'll start the process with the emotion code and the body code, which is just asking kind of a mapped out set of questions to figure out and identify what is the trapped energy, where is it located. Do we need to know additional information about the said trapped energy, whether it's an age of occurrence or if it's an inherited trapped energy, meaning that you got it from your parents at the time of conception. There are other types of trapped energies as well. Where did it come from? Who had it first in the line? There is additional information that sometimes needs to be gathered. The way that I look at it is sometimes the trapped energies and emotions are kind of on the surface. They're just ready to go. You just need to kind of identify and pick them out. Other times the energies are a little bit farther below the surface and you need these additional data points like age or the inheritance of the particular energy to find the particular one and take it out. Why do we need to find the particular one? Well, as you can imagine, there are probably various instances in your life where you might have a trapped energy of anger, for example. Every instance of the trapped energy of anger is actually separate because the context is different. Your age was different, who you were around, whether you were inside or outside, nighttime or daytime, all of that context is different and all of that is saved and imprinted with that trapped energy. Sometimes we need to know that information in order to identify the particular instance of the trapped energy and release it. Sometimes we don't. Once we've identified the particular energy, I will use a magnet and the governing meridian on my body, which runs from here all the way to the bottom of your spine. I will set an intention to release that energy, to balance the imbalanced energy, to align a misaligned energy, whatever it is that we've found, and run a magnet over the governing meridian, which will then spread that intention throughout the rest of your energy body. Now, why do we use the governing meridian? It's kind of like the main thoroughfare of energy for your body. And if we can set the correct intention there, it pushes it out everywhere else. Why do I use a magnet? Magnet isn't required. It just amplifies the intention, amplifies the intensity of the intention. I find personally, if I'm doing my own emotion code or body code sessions on myself, I don't need the magnet. I'm also very close. There's not a lot of interference. When I do virtual sessions, it just makes things stronger and more efficient. Now, during a session, what are you feeling, experiencing, noticing? Potentially nothing. You might not feel or experience or notice anything. You might feel tingling sensations. You might have visceral responses to releases. You might have physiological or somatic responses to releases. You might cry. You might notice some discomfort that's not feeling uncomfortable anymore. There's a variety of different things you could feel during the session, but it is also possible that you might not feel anything. After the session, what happens? It's really important that you drink extra water in the next 24 hours after you've had a session. Just like other energy healing modalities and things like massage where you've got kind of toxins built up, you need to kind of flush that stuff through your system. It's also really very important that you give yourself grace. You have had energy work. You may feel a little bit tired, fatigued, 24 to 48 hours. If, for example, you released a lot of anger energy, you might have some residual sort of anger energy frequency and feel yourself kind of getting quick to anger. So grace is really important, understanding that this is real work that you're doing and it does have an impact. In my experience with the body code and the emotion code, the weekly appointments really works best. And what that does is that allows your body to readjust from the energy work that we've done. It's kind of like if you imagine we work on one particular part, like let's say we work on your heart wall. The changes that happen in your heart energy also have impacts on other parts of your body. And so you want to give your body enough time to process. Sometimes with really nested and kind of more complex energies that we're releasing as part of the body code, people may notice on day 5 and day 6 that they're starting to feel something different rather than on day 1 or day 2. So I generally recommend appointments on a weekly or longer than every week basis to allow enough time for your body to fully process the changes. We've talked about a lot of things today. What is the emotion code? What is the body code? What is happening with your subconscious and your conscious mind? What is muscle testing? What does the appointment look like? I can't wait to see you in our first appointment. I'm really looking forward to it. And of course, any questions that you have, you can reach out at any time, or we can discuss them in your first appointment. See you later.